What's up, everybody? Welcome to this podcast, What's Going On? I am once again joined here by Gabriel.
Hello, so happy to be here. So happy to be back. Thank you very much for inviting me back.
You're welcome. We're going to continue looking at the wonderful group, Twin Flames Universe, today. Do we call it a cult still?
Well, we made a precedent of saying that we are not officially designating this place as a cult or this organization as a cult. However, we are using the term cult and high control group
yeah.
interchangeably. It doesn't reflect our opinions on the group, which are strong because of the documentary. It is a cult.
It's a cult.
It's a cult.
It's a cult.
But there's more to talk about, I believe.
Yes, there is.
In the last episode, we jumped into the psychology.
We looked at the psychology. I think I introduced some of the core concepts and practices that the TFU use. Do you remember any of it?
It's a lot of control, a lot of manipulation, a lot of just getting. There was a lot of money exchanging hands, I believe, in the cult from the leaders Jeff and Shalia.
Shalia, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is probably the biggest thing about it was money. I think I introduced you to some of the packages. I think the most expensive one was the everything package.
You did, yes.
Which was $8,888.
Dollars, yeah, not British pounds sterling.
No, it's about 7,100 something, I think
something
it was.
Like that, yeah.
And I said to you, there was more money.
There is.
There is more money. And that is one of the things we're going to look at today.
So
how much money some people spent on this.
Just on this organization. So to recap, this organization originally was designed to bring people together, your twin flame, helping you find your twin flame.
Yes.
And then coaching you through manifesting the best of life together and something like that, and becoming your divine masculine and divine feminine.
That didn't start off with that. That's very much that. That's the main thing we will cover. This is just the other part of it. There won't be a third part. But that the divine masculine and feminine thing is like the biggest thing that happened, I think.
So I've jumped ahead.
You've jumped ahead. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm very sorry. Right. Well, that's a little spoiler for what we've got coming up.
We did mention it in the last episode about kind of what it is. It's the rigid gender roles, where you can either be 100% masculine or 100% feminine. And that's kind of where their biggest controversies came about, why a lot of the people left. But yeah, just, again, money as well is huge in this.
Yes. Money makes the world go round, as they say.
Yeah, but yeah, it started off as Twin Flame, again, about bringing people together. It was kind of like a little love story thing, and then they evolved into the Church of Union, which is kind of their non-profit, and then you have the for-profits underneath, like TFU, Divine Dish, what were some of the other ones?
But essentially,
quite a few under there, yeah.
Essentially, they have the non-profit organization at the top, so they can avoid paying all of these lovely taxes to the government, which is very smart. They've got a very good accountant, clearly. But yeah.
Ah, wow.
Oh.
Well, I don't know that they probably do have an accountant now, but this is part of one of the women's stories.
Okay. Before we jump in, would you like to introduce what you're drinking?
I am drinking something I've experimented with. Without spilling it everywhere. So this is, what did I put in it? Elderflower liqueur.
Yes.
A sort of ginger health drink that we bought ages ago that I kind of swear by when I have a cold. And then some tonic water. But yeah, what is the monstrosity in your
my delightful
glass?
Concoction here is it's an alcoholic smoothie. It is a base of apple and elderflower juice with some mango and blueberries, and of course Cointreau. So, cheers.
Cheers. You always have pretentious drinks. Although
Rude, first of all.
I picked out the liquor for it.
She did. Very kindly.
Mm-hmm. But
Let's dive in.
yeah. Oh, I will say, but just because I have mentioned it in the podcast before, I passed my driving test.
She did. Big congratulations to you. You had it on Friday?
Friday, yeah.
This
so
Friday.
I had it on the 31st because I don't know when I'm going to release this.
That's true.
But yeah, I passed my driving test, so I can now legally drive.
First time, well
First
done.
time, there were 2 minors as well.
That's very good.
One of which was, I knew I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You felt it when you
I felt it. I got a bit too eager with accelerating onto like it was like a weird give way in like Brundle where they're doing roadworks, but it's like a give way onto a carriage way.
We've all done it.
Yeah. And I just like I felt the car like shudder as I went off, and then I was just like driving along, gripping the steering wheel, just like that's a minor.
Excellent.
that's a minor, and that was one of them. So,
but we have one more menace on the road essentially.
Yeah, maybe just stay off the roads. I think maybe that's just safer for everybody.
I think the safest place for me to be now is in your car, because then you're not going to crash into me. So, yeah,
and I've got good insurance.
Good insurance.
You'd hope so.
You would hope
for the amount of money. That was a shock. But yeah, so TFU anyway.
On to the topic at hand.
So we kind of introduced a couple of women in the last episode, being Keely. Paula was the first one because it's her twin sister that's in TFU and is still in the TFU. Keely, Elle, and Marley. Do you remember anything about them, or do you want a quick recap?
It has been a week, so
much has happened in that week.
So much has happened in the week. If you could just give me and maybe the audience a quick recap. They may have also tuned out and might be listening. They might not be listening to these back to back. It might, they might put some distance between them.
So yeah, Paula is her twin sister is Stephanie, who is in the TFU. That's pretty much all you get from her from the beginning. Other than Stephanie was the one that wrote that letter that cut them off, basically. The one that talked about choosing complete alignment with God and releasing all relationships with people not willing to do the same. Keely was the one that I kind of said she's not like a main I don't want to say character because these are real people, but they had the most interviewing time with her. And she was the one who was with Colby, and she was the one that kind of like gave us a good insight into TFU's view on sex.
Right. This is the problematic view about the man should or has the right to demand sex at any time from his partner.
Yes, and so that's when Keely kind of said that, she felt a lot of shame and guilt for not giving him it when he wanted.
Is Keely the one who was quite high up in the organisation as well, or is this?
She becomes quite high up, yes. That is part of her story in this bit. She ends up being a CEO.
That's it.
And then Elle was the one who her ex had the restraining order against her.
Yes.
She was encouraged to ignore it and calling it a block. And she ended up in where we left her was in the jail cell, but she does go to prison.
So she pursued this individual through the restraining order, essentially.
Yeah.
Through the guidance from the TFU, which is generally, that sounds like
illegal.
Really bad guidance. If an organisation is telling you to do something illegal, that doesn't really sort of sit well, I don't think. It shouldn't sit well, no matter how you feel about the situation.
And then Marley's Keely's younger sister. She was youngest member of TFU at the time, and she's only 18. And she was the one that ended up with Joshua, the guy who was 11 years older than her.
Big age gap.
Yeah. Odd. And again, we're not saying age differences are ultimately a bad thing, but
no, not at all.
Again, I want to remind you that he was 29, 30 and she was 18.
Yeah, it does seem
They're
like
still a
large.
child.
Yeah.
I know at like 18 is like when you kind of
But
become legal in like
18,
most ways.
it's a
Well,
very
not in America, you can't
impressionable.
even drink, can you?
True. But you can join the army and buy firearms, I believe. That's its own topic.
Yeah, just backwards, but yeah. So yeah, those are the people we're introduced. We're going to go into them again and also introduce a couple of other people. But
Who are we starting off with? What story are we starting off with today?
I am going to start with. I'm going to start with Keely.
Okay.
Just because I think, again, just because I think they had the most interview time with her, I think she offers the most insight into the group, and obviously because she ended up being quite high up.
So once again, this is all the information gathered with a previous episode, and today's episode is all from the Netflix documentary Escaping Twin Flames.
Yes, I can't believe you remembered the name.
Of course. Well, I've been talking about it all week, so I should remember the name.
So, Keely. So, you know how I mentioned before that they'd kind of got their hands on a lot of recordings of meetings. So it was actually a hard drive that was given to Keely. So it was someone who had left TFU, had given it to Keely and said told her to keep it safe. Now this hard drive contains so much sensitive material because it's like it includes recordings of secret meetings that not every member was a part of, kind of just like the higher ups, and you know that they talk about some things that you're like, ooh, I don't know if that's A, legal, B, ethical, or C, a good thing.
Oh yes, all the keywords.
Yes.
Lovely.
They had deleted YouTube videos on them. I think I think this is where most of the documentary got its material from, and just some of the stuff that Jeff says on those videos is like disgusting.
Jeff, aka the second coming of
Jesus,
Christ.
yeah.
Who you would think would be nice and divine and holy and
Well, because you remember even what I said about
a carpenter.
What he said about like the comments he made about when Shilly didn't want to sleep with him, and it was that, is it like playful, oh no, stop, or is it like stop? You know?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
problematic. Yeah.
And then some of like you can just tell, like, I don't want to throw this word around because like it's so much like deeper psychologically, but like how narcissistic he is.
Well, to consider or to believe that you are the second coming of Christ, a divine figure, you do have somewhat of an ego
that's
there.
necessarily narcissistic.
Do you not?
No, because like actual psychological delusions. Think about that.
So that's a delusion. He's
Well, again, it's hard to say without like.
That's true. Without an effective scan of his brain, as it were.
Yeah,
maybe.
Or like the scales they use and stuff. But baseline, you can tell he has a massive ego.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Without a doubt.
I think even like one of the videos he said like in a meeting that like everyone's purpose is to work for him.
That's.
Or something like that.
Not true. No, don't base yourself around one
Yeah.
of all the people to base your life around. One white dude in America, probably not it. I'm just throwing a guess out there. It's probably not it statistically.
No. But yeah, so I think Keely's a good one to start with. It's just a small bit on her, really. But it ties back to what we talked about in last episode with do you remember what MAP was?
Oh,
the mirror exercise on steroids therapy kind of thing.
Yeah. Basically reflecting everything internally instead of
actually processing it in a healthy way.
Your emotions. Yeah.
But yeah, Keely at the time, she was she said she'd been made to do a MAP session to work through her what they called intimacy issues. What I call a reluctance to have sex with a partner within her own right, because he made her feel like he owned her body.
Yeah, should be done between two consenting adults.
Yeah.
Basic.
So they made her do a MAP session for that. She doesn't really go into it or touch on it, and don't blame her. Probably wouldn't want to relive that. But she also talked about Divine Dish. They kind of not made her, because I guess that's the argument always with cults, isn't it? About like, this person still went in of their own free will and still made these decisions while they were in this group. Whereas I would argue, well, they do make those decisions, but like, the whole thing about a cult is that it messes with your psychology so much that even though you are like making these decisions, how much of it at that point is actually a conscious thought?
How much of it is actually the person you were when you went in, and how much of it is the person you've become?
The indoctrinated
Exactly.
Yeah.
Indoctrination and coercion by the organization can make you do things that you wouldn't have imagined previously.
Yeah. But yeah, she said that she did the Divine Dish. She put on 70 pounds in just 9 months.
That's a lot of weight.
I wonder what that is in kilos. This again is live research, because I forget to
actually. So you've done
to
all
convert
of this,
things.
You've done all of this research, all of this study,
Do you
all
know
of these
what? I
notes.
probably looked it up and then just didn't write it down.
That doesn't sound like you.
It's 32 kilos.
Jeez.
That is
a lot.
I'm thinking how that is that's like
32 over 7 months.
So it was 31.75, 9 months.
9 months, sorry.
So that's like half of me.
Oh God. That's heavy.
Yeah.
No offense. That wasn't meant. I just realized how that came out. No, but half of anyone.
It's all muscle, baby, don't worry.
Exactly. Half of anyone. That is, half
Yeah.
of a person's weight in 9 months.
It's a lot. My heart broke for her, because thinking of what she said about like sex and stuff with her partner, she literally said, I didn't recognize myself. I didn't feel like I had control over my own body. It's actually making me tear up a little bit now, because she was like watching like recordings of her in a meeting, and she was just like, you can see that I've like lost the fight in me.
That's not her. Yeah. She's mentally, she's checked out. She's not involved really. Her mind is
and to
gone.
not feel like you have control over your own body is just horrible. But yeah, sorry.
It's all right. No, it is. It's a horrible situation.
But yeah, then they made her CEO.
Sounds like promotion.
Well, so she kind of realized that it was basically just admin.
Yeah, so more of a secretary than a CEO.
She didn't have any power or say in anything, and she was basically one of the things she was tasked with was researching the group's business structures in order for Jeff and Shalia to pay the least amount of tax possible. Which is kind of where like Church of Union and like all this came up, because they were like, they realized that they made a non-profit.
Non-profits don't pay tax.
Yeah.
If they just put it all under one umbrella, it's less tax anyway, so they can just get more money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Isn't that one of a cult's primary goals, do we think? To make money? Money, control, power.
Yeah, I think money is sometimes not always a goal.
No?
No, I think it is an inevitable byproduct of a cult anyway.
Okay. So would you say that a monetary drive is more of an individual's greed than the goal of a cult, particularly? Do narcissists generally want more money? Is that something you would?
I think narcissism is more about power. I think I just struggle because like definitely lead a good lifestyle. Like if you go and look at their Instagram or anything, or even in this documentary, they have a lot of money. They are rich. But whenever I see like videos of Jeff talking and like the way he is with people, and like just the way like I feel like people were manipulated within this group, I would more lean towards it's all about power and having people not even follow him, but serve him essentially.
Right.
Even
though first Jesus, as we will call him, was all about serving other people.
The real one.
First, real first, whatever you want to call them. The carpenter one, about 2,000 years ago or so.
Yeah.
So he's not. He's had a change of tact. Clearly, that time up in heaven. I mean, he's had a bit of a switch round morally, but who knows what's going on up there.
But yeah, I guess it's hard because I think if you talk about like the overall group, then yeah, I guess money's a part of it. But like if you then look at the individual, he just screams like, I don't know what the word is, like power, hungry,
dictatory.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think control, and I just always say that control and power. I mean, again, this is just my opinion.
Right.
That control and power are probably more core of what a cult strives for, and then just money just tend to become part of it.
They're secondary, as you say.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But Katie kind of said that she felt she was being watched. And that every task she did was a test. And I think a big part of that was maybe they sensed that she was having doubts, because they obviously put her through map session and put on Divine Dish. And I feel like because the Divine Dish diet was so carb heavy, that's got to like contribute to like fatigue and like brain fog.
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
Makes people easier to control, almost, one could say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're coming back to this control again. So being on this sort of diet, the Divine Dish, this carb heavy, is it protein heavy as well?
Red meat heavy.
Red meat, yeah. Carb, red meat. Generally, people would put on a lot of weight. So did we look into Divine Dish too much last time? I think we had a quick peek, didn't we?
I went and looked. I found their website.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, because I said that it does look a lot better than it did before. Because I'd say it's still quite carb heavy, but not as much red meat.
In your research, did you know if they had actual dietitians help with this?
As far as I know, no.
Okay, so
I think now
there is.
I'm going to double check again.
Okay.
I think now they have a chef.
Right.
In that works with them.
Because generally
they've worked with one Chef Jason.
Chef Jason.
And then it doesn't look like they've got any
other actual.
It doesn't say anywhere about like how they
credentials, where they came up with the menu. Right, they're just saying this is what you should eat. They're not experts, and they're like, okay, we're going to tell you another aspect on how to live your life. Not only are we going to partner you with this specific person.
Oh, okay. Jason Emmerich is now the Divine Dish CEO and executive chef. He's a culinary school graduate as well as a master certified ascension coach.
Ooh.
Which is what you get at the end of ascension school, you can get. And he's also a map practitioner.
Interesting. He sounds very heavily into this then.
Oh, I don't like this.
Oh dear, what have you seen?
Chef Jason will show you how to overcome body image issues and difficulties with working out regularly in Divine Glow group coaching.
Ooh.
I don't see anything about him being, because you don't with body image issues, you don't necessarily have to be a registered psychologist.
No,
you can be a counselor, but that still requires training.
Yeah, qualifications,
especially with body image.
That's quite specific. That's very
because I did body image issues in my masters, and
you kind of know what to look for then.
Well, what more that I was going to say was, so my master's project was to do with body image in anorexic patients.
Yes.
But my actual study that I ran was in controls because I was an unqualified person who would not be allowed
to actually
access for to those patients because I was not qualified, because I was not trained.
Okay.
I'm trying to find him on LinkedIn.
Okay, but essentially on their website, which should really show everything, all of this guy's qualifications, it's not saying that he's actually qualified to give out this advice or not. Is it advice or is it more of a?
I think it's full coaching.
It's full-on coaching.
I think even giving out advice is terrible. Because again, I want to say another thing I did in university was I worked for BEAT, which is an eating disorder charity. I worked as a campus representative. We were literally trained, if someone came to you and started talking to you about a problem or an issue they had, you do not give them advice.
Okay.
The only thing that you can say to them is try and sympathise with them and lead them to the right place, give them advice on where to go.
Yeah.
To seek out professional help. We were not, that was the one thing they really beat into us was do not give advice. You are not qualified to give advice.
I imagine that's because giving the wrong advice can really have a more
detrimental effect. Yeah.
James.
Sad.
Oh, never mind.
He doesn't seem to have a
Oh dear. What have you found?
Oh, of course. Sorry. That took me way too long to click.
Right.
Do you remember the CEO of MAP was Chrissy? Dr. Chrissy Emmerich.
Oh.
That's their husband and wife.
Jason's partner. So another couple are within TFU are helping Jeff and Shalia run things.
Apparently, Jason is a director of training at MAP. Then again, okay.
We've gone on to a very strange tangent.
We've gone on to a very strange tangent. He's not qualified.
Generally, is what
I don't
it
think
looks
most
like.
of these people are qualified.
From the website, what you're saying is doesn't look like this guy is qualified to, specifically with the body image. He might be a trained chef. He might be, very good at actually now giving out these meals, but it doesn't look like this guy is qualified for body image coaching.
I would still be fully surprised if they actually had anyone psychology trained, even a counsellor.
Sure.
Which I'm not bumming off. Counsellors are still yeah, they're still qualified to give therapy.
Yes.
It's just once you're like psychiatrically trained, it's like deeper and stuff.
Sure.
And you can also psychiatrist the one that you can prescribe medicine, I think.
Okay.
Because you have to have like medical training.
That makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, should we circle back?
Yes, that is all I had for Keely at that moment. Just because it kind of gets on like deeper. I just wanted to reintroduce some of the people.
People, not characters.
Yes, people.
These affected citizens.
I'm gonna call them survivors, to be honest.
That's a good word for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of the abuse in this, but I'm gonna switch back to Marley because she also had some MAP sessions. I think she had one of the worst just because she was young. Because I think, again, 18, legally an adult in most ways.
Very susceptible.
Yeah. Your frontal lobe doesn't fully develop until 25, or some people 30. You're still very vulnerable and, still learning life. So she'd moved in with Joshua, her twin flame. So Josh was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder.
That doesn't sound good.
You don't know what that is?
No, but I'm assuming an 18-year-old wouldn't be very good at coping with that.
Schizoaffective disorder is a fun one.
Is it fun? Is
Not
it actually
for the
fun?
person who has it. It's a fun one to study because it's so interesting. But basically, you have the symptoms of schizophrenia. So hallucinations, delusions. I can't think what the other ones are.
Those two sound like the main ones, yeah.
Yeah, but you also have that alongside symptoms of an affective disorder like BPD, depression, So like mood disorders. So it's kind of like having schizophrenia, but then also being like really depressed at the same time.
Right.
It's bad. Like, especially like, I think she said as well, like his episodes, when he would have an episode, it was like unbearable. Like he was like either like aggressive or just like hard to control, or and she just felt like there was nothing she could do. Like she's living with this man who's 11 years older than her, has one of, you know, that's a horrible mental disorder.
One of the hardest sounds like a really hard medical disorder to live with and also to manage as a partner, unless you are, experienced.
Yeah, and he was not getting, as far as I know, any professional help, which with especially something like schizoaffective disorder, you really need.
You need it.
And medication as well.
Absolutely. Medication plays a massive role, with the maintaining.
But
that
yeah,
sort of behaviour.
she had to have a map session relating to trauma from his behavior, including there was this one episode he had and he chased her down.
Chased?
Like she was running away from him.
Oh.
And he chased her down.
That's...
I think, I didn't write it down, and I'm not going to say either way, but I think she said that he got arrested for it.
Okay, more illegal things.
But she was struggling. She didn't really know how to deal with him and his mental health. She was obviously traumatized from this relationship.
Understandably.
She reached out to Jeff, asking how Josh's mental health could be healed, because she felt like that nothing she was doing was working. What do you think Jeff said to her?
Jeff would have said something very holy. He would have said, "It's okay, my child. Come to me, I shall heal him. For I am the Lord cometh again."
Worse.
Okay, worse than that.
Yeah.
Suck it up, sunshine?
Pretty much.
Oh, good.
He said that Josh would be able to overcome his struggles if he had a supportive, loving environment.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so all of his problems are...
Marley's fault.
Not internal.
No.
Not his own brain.
I don't think they believe in mental health.
Doesn't sound like it.
I highly doubt they believe in mental health.
That's really bad advice.
I'm just quickly going to...
I'm just going to put that out there. That's really bad advice.
I love the Church of Union website. I think I showed it to you, like... Briefly before, because they have this page. This is the best page. They have this page called Social Impact.
Social Impact.
Oh my God. I'm going to read the first line out to you.
Here we go.
We, as unionists, believe total inclusion of all people is the key to resolving social conflicts between differences of colour, culture, religion, socioeconomic status, political viewpoints, etc. There's more. It actually does say about using transformative healing power of the mirror exercise.
God.
But they have two issues listed on this that you can like see their point of view.
Jeez.
One is Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
As far as I know, absolutely no proof that the TFU is racist.
Good. That's one good thing against them, on them.
I think because out of all the women interviewed, there was only one black woman.
Right.
It was, two black women, but the rest were white. I think there was a couple of other ethnicities, but majority white American.
Okay.
There was never any mention of them being discriminated against because of their ethnicity or anything like that.
No.
The second thing on this, which I find hilarious considering what their biggest controversy is, and you will completely disagree with their view on this.
Am I going to laugh?
LGBTQ+. So I won't read it out, but basically the whole section just says like about how they're inclusive of this community and they believe in honest and open exploration of sexual identity.
Okay. But
We believe this paves the way for unified global acceptance and understanding of the sexual identities of all people everywhere, that we might all find God's peace here. Right, yeah, so you read that, you think, for a religious community, it's quite inclusive. Now I'm going to talk to you about what they're actually like.
So this is, and that's what they preach.
That's on their website.
That's on the website. Outwardly, that's the view they want to give off.
Mm-hmm. I have absolutely no issue with calling them homophobic.
Okay, strong words.
Strong words, and I stand by it. And you'll see why I stand by it.
Here we go.
So yeah, that was Marley. I'm going to introduce someone new called Angie.
Hello, Angie.
Hello, Angie. So she was kind of in the same position as Elle. She had a twin flame, or a supposed twin flame. So this was someone she worked with, actually, who I think they became like really good friends.
Hmm.
And I found it really strange because he was like flirting with her. I think he was quite a bit younger, but he was always flirting with her and like sending her like topless photos and stuff.
Okay.
And then I think they had some time together and like they kissed, and then he like kind of just suddenly pulled away and was like, I can't do this. And you're like a sister to me.
Oh, that's strange behavior.
Strange, anyway.
Okay. Sounds like a cop out.
Well, he got into a relationship with the man.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Absolutely.
I think maybe
he was probably struggling to find
in the closet a little bit. Yeah,
he was, making sure he was making the right decision.
I think then because of that, he kind of realised, or he was bisexual. They didn't, obviously, because they never interviewed him.
No,
didn't go into it. But when Angie was talking about this in sessions, Jeff and Shalia told her that he was just denying who he was, and that Angie was the one meant to be with him. They said that he was acting this way, and I'm going to assume they meant homosexually.
Acting this way. I used quotation marks there.
They referred to it as acting feminine. Yeah.
Okay.
So this man was in a happy, I assume it was happy,
in a relationship,
a gay relationship.
Yeah.
And they told Angie that he was acting feminine because Angie was not feminine enough and therefore was taking away his masculine energy. So straight off the bat, that's them basically saying that a man being gay takes away from his masculinity. But they're inclusive of the LGBTQ community.
They are inclusive. I'm not seeing this is
Nope.
This is incorrect here.
Yeah.
These things are not matching up quite so well.
So they encouraged Angie to start wearing dresses, perfume, and lipstick. She always said that she always felt like quite happy in her femininity. She wasn't overly feminine.
Yeah.
But that's when she started becoming more.
Trying to become more
like
okay.
What we see is like hyper femininity, basically.
Right. So what they've done is they've got a woman who the man who she's attracted to has decided to date other men, and to make herself more attractive to this man is to make herself more like a woman instead of more like a man.
Yeah.
Who
again we can't assume whether he was completely
of course
gay or
bisexual
or somewhere along there.
Yeah.
Because again, and this is a point that is why their divine feminine masculine is so horrible.
Yeah.
Sexuality is a spectrum.
Of course it is.
It's not
like the light spectrum. That's a different kind of spectrum.
It's not black and white, which is what they try and make it.
Sure.
But yeah, so Angie started doing all this. She then reached out to this man, expressed her feelings to him, called him her twin flame. He rejected her and basically called her delusional and cut off contact with her.
Which is probably...
I think that's quite a natural response.
That's a mature decision. He has obviously made this commitment to this other person. He's in a relationship. Someone has come along who he's previously said, I'm not interested anymore. They are now coming back stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Of course his reaction is going to be something more firm.
Like, whoa, please leave me alone.
Hold up there.
So she became like really emotionally distressed. She tried to speak about it in classes, and Jeff and Shalia kind of just shunned her.
Basically, well, yeah, because
I can't remember exactly what they said, but
what they gambled on the fact that he was going to immediately come back to her after she. This is what it seems to me, at least. So they said, "Yeah, go admit your feelings. He'll come back." And the fact that he didn't come back means that because they were wrong with that, they don't want to admit their mistakes. So they're obviously going to push her aside and not let
but
her
I
speak
think
her
it's
truth.
a fine line, because is it because they've made this gamble and they don't want to look wrong, or is it because they genuinely believe in it?
That's the thing. I think they gambled. Narcissist. Right?
I think they genuinely believe in it.
Really?
Yeah. I think, or at least they started off believing in it.
Hmm.
But I also want to point out, when Angie joined this group, she identified as bisexual.
Okay.
She was told that masculine energy can only be attracted to masculine energy and feminine to feminine, and therefore bisexuality does not exist.
We've solved it. But bisexuality does not exist. Heard it on the TFU first. Wow. Solved it. Perfect.
Oh my god, my jaw dropped.
What did you feel about that? Personally.
Rough. Yeah, so I identify as bisexual. I have experienced bisexual erasure in my past. So I fully feel for her, because like,
Of course.
not basically being told that it doesn't exist.
That's your.
Because I get it a lot, because in my dating history, I've only dated like one woman,
Sure.
and like not even like seriously or like for a long time. Because again, sexuality is a spectrum. I do identify as bisexual, but I do slightly lean more towards men, because women are beautiful and terrifying, and I don't know how to talk to them.
Oh yeah, no, I've got no idea. Yeah. I have no idea how this is
no
happening.
idea.
No.
Pure dumb luck.
This literally, I've lucked into this situation. It's fantastic.
But yeah, so she was not even the only one. Like, there is another woman I will bring up who also identified as bisexual.
And she's having
again inclusive of the
inclusive.
community.
Here we go.
So this is where the masculine, feminine, divine, fucking whatever we want to call it, became a big thing, and a lot of the rules were suddenly changed, and it kind of goes back into, how I said that the group was predominantly women.
Yes.
So they changed the rules so that your twin flame before could be anyone. They changed it so it would have to be someone within the group. This causes an issue when you have predominantly female and not all of them are
sexually inclined that way.
Oh, it doesn't exist, though, So Jeff and Shalia spent the night channeling.
Of course they did.
They came up with 20 new pairings in the group, most of which are female-female pairings.
Yeah.
So half of these people were just told that they were actually divine masculine. So they were men in women's body, basically.
Right.
So Angie...
I feel like you're more likely to know that than random...
No.
people.
No, of course it's them.
Oh, of course it's them.
It's them that know.
Yeah, these random people on the street who can just tell you that, no, you're living wrong. Thanks. Appreciate that.
This is why I just find it so messed up. Because remember, they've just told Angie that she's not feminine enough.
Yep.
They told her that she was the divine masculine.
So they've gone back on what they're saying. They've gone
completely back on what they've said.
This is why I think it's a gamble.
They paired her with a woman called Victoria, who Angie was friends with. This was the point at which Victoria left.
Sure.
Because she was like, I'm just not attracted to this person. Like, I can't be with this person. Like, I am fully straight.
Yeah.
And she's like, Angie's a friend. Like, I love her to bits, but...
we ain't gonna go that way.
Not in that way. Victoria was also the chief security officer for the group.
Okay.
Which I will just briefly mention, because one of the biggest reasons she left was the divine masculine feminine. Another reason was because part of her job, she had to keep a spreadsheet of all those that had left the group on bad terms. And this list was that person and then all their socials. And they were told to keep tabs on the socials.
Oh, God.
I will say, she said became public enemy number 1, and I will go into why.
Yeah.
But that she said that sheet was another reason why she left.
Basically keeping tabs on the followers who have then left the organization of their own free will. Basically, they're having them followed, essentially.
Yeah, they're just stalking them.
Yeah. That's illegal.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal, but it's okay. It feels illegal. It's just
Feels a little
it's
wrong, doesn't
it's
it?
shady. At the very least, it's very shady. An organization, a legitimate organization, doesn't go along following their.
It's pretty much how they get their defamation suits out quite
Right.
quickly. They've got a lot of defamation suits.
Of course, they do.
But yeah, Elle was public enemy number 1.
Mm.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because she did leave the group. These are all people that have left the group, obviously, yeah.
Yes.
So Elle spent about a month in prison before she finally got the courage to call her parents. Her parents, and this is why I hate her so much, because you know how Elle said she cut off her parents because they weren't supportive of her, goes back to that energy leak, whatever thing.
Sure.
Her parents put their retirement funds on hold so they could pay to bail her out.
Oh my god.
They dropped everything,
Those sound
bailed
like
her
supportive
out,
parents.
and then got her to move in with them. Yeah.
Okay, so they are good people.
They are good people. They were obviously encouraging her to be like, don't go back. She did.
Okay.
She was still very much part of this group. She said that it wasn't actually until she had left the group that she realised how deep the abuse was in it.
Of course.
She was one of the members that claims to have experienced the planting of memories during MAP sessions. I think I briefly mentioned this before, but she'd been told that in these sessions that she'd been sexually abused as a child.
Yes.
Which is why she cut off her family, believing they were out to hurt her. She said, as far as I know,
didn't happen.
Never happened.
Yeah.
Completely false. And she said that, it was at this point she realised that the things that coaches and the senior members were doing, especially through MAP, were like truly nasty. And she'd kind of challenged the abusive practices. She'd kind of said, like, or I don't know whether she like made a complaint or who it was to, but she basically just like raised a point about it. She said she was pulled basically almost immediately into a remediation meeting.
Remediation?
She had her position removed.
Okay.
I think she was like a social media manager or something like that.
Yeah.
She said she was pulled into this meeting and basically told to admit that she was wrong in her allegations.
That sounds like intimidation from the group, basically. Yeah.
She didn't.
Of course not.
She said that it wasn't long after that she just woke up one day. She'd been removed from all of the groups, and her clients had been told not to contact her.
Oh my god.
It was at that point because in the interview she was like, I was just like, fuck it.
Sure.
She was like, you want to play that game? I'll play it.
Yeah.
So she went with another member who did statistical analysis for MAP. MAP was one of the reasons why she left. They went to and contacted this investigative journalist who eventually ran the first article about TFU and how they exploited members.
Okay.
Jeff did file a civil lawsuit.
Of course he did.
For defamation.
Yeah.
The case was dropped. I think it was dropped on the smallest thing. I think it was literally just like there was an issue with state jurisdiction, so they like dropped the case.
Okay.
It was something stupid.
American legal system is a bit odd,
I don't even want to begin to try and understand it.
No, that's fair.
But yeah. So that was when she left, and that's why she became public enemy number 1, because she left on really, really bad terms.
Really,
obviously, like abusive allegations, and the fact that she went to this journalist and they wrote that article. Because I think that's kind of when the public first became aware of TFU.
Well, it sounds like she left. She didn't exactly leave. She was basically forced out because
she was booted.
Yeah, they removed her from everything. She dared to question the teachings and practices of Jeff and Shalia, which were admittedly, well, from the looks of it, incredibly harmful. And because she raised her voice and said, no, this isn't right, they gave her the boot, basically. Made sure that she wasn't able to influence any of the other groups. Which, yeah, dodgy practice. Dodgy.
Terrible.
Not good.
So the other woman I want to bring up is Jessie. Jessie, again, she was the one that I said that there was another person who identified as bisexual. She was the group's customer service manager. She was who I said about how there's so much more money involved. So you can train to become a coach. It costs you.
Of course it does.
Obviously. How much do you think she spent?
On becoming a coach?
On becoming a coach.
In
dollars.
Let's go. All of my guesses were way off last time. I can remember that. Let's go for $1,200. I'm way off again, aren't I?
You're so far off.
I'm so off.
Do you want another guess? I'll give you another guess.
3,000. Is that still off?
20,000. 20k.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They did not. They're not charging that amount of money.
Yeah. It wasn't like one specific course, but I think she said it was around that she spent.
That's hideous.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
Yeah.
That's daylight robbery.
Yeah.
For that sort of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even real coaching. That's their modified fuck with your mind coaching.
Yeah, pretty much. So she spent that much. She faced dismissal of her bisexual identity. I just wanted to bring her up. She does come up again, but there was something she said that reinforced the just narcissism of Jeff. But she had said that so the coaching had like a ranked system, like based on how well you were doing. They'd have like, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coach of the week or month or whatever.
They're ranking the coaches.
Yeah.
Okay.
She questioned Jeff about why they had that system, basically, because she found it a bit odd.
Of course.
He said, "How dare you question your God?"
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's. How dare you question your God?
How dare you question your God? I think he went on a bit of a rant afterwards, but I didn't bother listening.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay, so yeah, Messiah complex. Easily a Messiah complex.
It's not good.
Mm.
There was a couple more people I wanted to just bring up that weren't really like main interviewees, but one of them was a woman called Arcelia. So Arcelia is a trans woman. Is that the right way?
I'm not
She
sure.
was born male.
Okay.
Reassigned to female.
I believe, yes.
Yeah. So she had started TFU and found it really welcoming. Jeff and Shalia didn't have any like issue with her, and she really it really helped her with community.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's a really nice story.
However,
oh no, it's no longer a nice story.
When the gender ideology stuff came out, the divine feminine, masculine, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. She said that they found out she was trans. So I don't know if they knew that she was to begin with. But she said that she felt she pretty much became the poster child for like the LGBTQ plus community for the group.
Right.
And the divine gender stuff was what made her leave, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, as it would. That's a very personal situation that she is going through.
But yeah, she put it better than I will ever be able to. But she kind of literally was just like, it is not their, this is a direct quote, it is not their fucking place to decide what gender you are.
That's a fucking brilliant quote.
That is baseline.
That's
correct.
Of course
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Like you are putting these two people are deciding what gender you are.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Interesting how this is currently reflecting the political climate in America at the moment.
That's dating this podcast. Isn't that what you said to me last time?
Oh no, I'm dating the podcast. But still.
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring her up because I loved her. She was so good. Like she was so strong, and she was a really like good one to interview.
Sure.
But the other woman is Dr. Janja Lalick. So she's a professor emerita of sociology. She's the one that's currently working with former members because she did a lot of work on high control groups. So she was talking about how high control groups will use introspective exercise labeled self-help to actually tear apart an individual's sense of self. Mirror exercise. Or MAP, yeah.
Okay.
She also touched on how groups will typically succeed also in tearing the person away from their family, allowing them to be isolated and easier to have their lives controlled. Any of this sounding familiar?
This sounds like everything that they've basically... This sounds like their whole... what she's done is said, oh yeah, this textbook that they're living by, cult.
Another thing she mentioned was it's not always the leader that is abusive. Members are groomed and trained to go after each other, and thus the abuse becomes, in a sense, very widespread and normalised. You know how Elle said that it was the higher-up members were quite abusive?
Oh, yes.
It's not just Jeff. I mean, every single thing, like, bit of what I watched Jeff speak was just the most awful thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, just thinking of it coming from other members as well.
Well, yeah, if they're fully indoctrinated, if they are coerced, if they have taken their... If Jeff, their god, has come along and turned them into this, sort of being that he wants them to be, then they will be basically doing his divine will, as he would frame it, I imagine.
Yeah, it was just like watching her interview, and then like everything she said, it was like, this kind of sounds like something
this is a little suspicious right now.
But yeah, so it was all the divine gender stuff going on. There was something else really disturbing that also emerged, which was the reason why I think Keeley left.
Yes.
So it was a concept of a golden child.
Golden child?
So Jeff and Shalia initially purchased land with plans to build a community where followers could come together to live out their spiritual ideals. Not a cult.
Not a cult.
Not a cult.
No, sounds a bit dodgy.
It wasn't
Jonestown.
Yeah, that's kind of why. Oh, he did tweet that, remember? That he was going to make it like Jonestown.
Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah.
They said it wasn't just about living together, but creating a generation of children. It's already so wrong. So initially, sperm donors were allowed because obviously a lot of these pairings are female,
of course,
male. Actually, I don't know if there was. I don't think there were any male ones.
Yeah.
But for those that couldn't physically reproduce, it did seem at the start that people were allowed to like choose their own sperm donors. I think there was like a Facebook post where one of the couples kind of said what they were looking for in their sperm donor, basically. This eventually got restricted to Jeff's choice. Like, he got to choose who...
Of course he did.
Reproduced, donated.
Yeah.
They also set a minimum requirement of the couple had to have a combined income of $10,000.
Okay. That seems like a very strange requirement to have. Unless their motivations aren't solely on helping people.
Yeah, I don't know why that was one of them. But, like, more unsettling. For a lot of the journey, Jeff and Shalia had been trying for a baby. So they were undergoing IVF because they wanted to choose the gender of the baby.
Okay.
So they wanted to have a baby girl because they believed that their child would be the ultimate ascended divine feminine.
What?
Even weirder, and I hate to say that it does get weirder, but they claimed that she would be celibate because she would be able to satisfy all her own sexual needs and that she would only have sex with God. An unborn baby, by the way.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if you're thinking of your child having sex when they're a baby,
before they're even
born,
when they're a hypothetical idea,
Why are you sexualizing a child like that?
That's very strange. I mean, on a more human level, I suppose, I can understand a father's reluctance, or it's quite a what should we call it, pop culture thing of a dad being very protective of a daughter. It's in like films and series and stuff.
Yeah.
That's sort of normal. I think men who have children can absolutely respond to that.
Oh yeah, no, I'd say there's a difference between being like, you know, thinking, you know, my child is growing up and is going to have sex one day, compared to my child will be celibate and only have sex with God, and she will be able to satisfy all her own sexual needs. Why are you thinking about your
that?
kid's sexual needs?
Yeah, that's really
weird.
That's freaky.
That's the strange bit.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
But they're only having the girl though. There's only the divine feminine there. Have they got plans for a divine masculine along the way?
I don't know.
Where's he
so
coming
this pregnancy was actually terminated in 2022. They played it off as so they'd named it Baby Grace. They stated that Baby Grace had decided to remain on the spiritual astral plane.
What?
Yeah. They do now have a baby girl called Grace.
Okay. She changed her mind again.
She was apparently she was born in 2023. I think okay. So. She's like on their Instagram and stuff. They've definitely got absolutely no issues with child privacy. You know how like celebrities and stuff, like, or like a lot of people when they post like pictures of their kid, they'll like blur out the face or like put an emoji or something on top of it.
Yeah,
not like that. Absolutely not concerned about privacy whatsoever.
No. This kid is going to be fucked up, aren't they?
I don't know, because is it different to when like?
Oh no, I don't mean just from like having their face on social medias and stuff. I just mean with. Jeff
I know, being in a cult.
Yeah.
But like, sorry, high control group. But I mean, like, is it different? Like, could you say they're going to be fucked up? Because yeah, you can say that people that join the group and then leave, their psychology gets fucked up. If you're born into it, there is no. Can you argue that they're going to be fucked up when
that's all they know?
That's their norm. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because we could say from the outside, their psychology would end up being not in line with society or our society or whatever.
Yeah.
But if that's all they know.
That's true.
Interesting, isn't it? People born into cults. Are there that many people born into cults?
It depends, because some cults don't really last that long. They're only a couple of years old. I don't know. Generally,
some last ages.
It sort of depends, really.
I think because looking at these articles, it's just children who escape cults, but it doesn't necessarily say they were born into it, just that they grew up in it.
Okay.
Because I feel like obviously if someone joins a cult and they have younger children with them, they inevitably bring them with them.
It would make sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine how that kid's going to turn out.
No.
She has a she has a lavish lifestyle.
Oh, they will.
They're rich, yeah.
Probably incredibly spoiled.
Yeah, and thinking they're like, I don't know,
thinking
the
they're
third
divine.
Coming of Christ. Who knows? But yeah, so that was who was that?
Do you think that they specifically wanted a girl because if they had a boy and it was a masculine, or the divine masculine, it would take away some of Jeff's power?
100% it has to be from his ego, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he could handle having a baby boy. I think it would, like, I mean, again, that's a child, but I think he would be threatened.
Damn, that's terrifying. That's a very terrifying thought.
Speaking of parents, there was a couple of mothers that got interviewed. So there was 3 mums. One of them was Paula and Stephanie's mum. And then the other 2 that I'll talk about was Maxine and Debbie. So Maxine is the mother of Isaiah, yeah. He is still currently, the mums all currently have people in the TFU.
Okay.
So Isaiah was born female, transitioned to male. Maxine stated that he'd started being online very frequently, and someone he had started dating online introduced him to TFU, and that's how he got involved.
Right.
She said that one day he just like came out to his mum, and when she asked how long he'd been feeling that way, he replied immediately after joining TFU.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think that's a fine line.
Sure.
Because it could very well be that, you know, those feelings hadn't come to the surface, and then like joining TFU was the first time that he could have explored his gender and sexual identity or whatever, and then been like, actually, this is who I am.
If there is a community there that would help him establish who he feels that he is, absolutely. Yeah. That might have been the first time he'd actually had contact with people who had similar experiences.
Yeah. On the other hand, knowing their divine feminine, masculine.
Yeah.
How much of that was him
being immediately targeted and told.
Yeah. But he was paired with Sage, who's a transgender woman.
Okay.
And he had kind of, again, because they always encourage you to be your twin flame, they'd kind of told him to come and be with her. He gave his family 5 hours of warning that he was leaving.
That's it.
Yep, to be with his twin flame. They obviously begged him not to go.
Of course.
But they ended up being like, and this is a thing again, like about how I don't think that you can say that the family's not supportive. They drove him to the airport to say goodbye.
Yeah.
She said when Maxine said she hugged him goodbye, and that was the last she ever saw of him.
That's upsetting.
She's only seen him through like YouTube videos and stuff that they post, and like through the website and stuff. Just not seen him in person.
So the control group has very, very successfully cut them off from the family.
Yep. He's also believed to be the first member who's undergone gender affirming surgeries. He got top surgery done.
Okay.
Because there was a video about him talking about it. I don't know how many others have, like, while in the group, because I believe that Sage was transgender before she joined the group.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, he was just kind of like the first one to go on to actual surgery. But similarly, the other mother was called Debbie, and Debbie is the mother of Ray, who is a transgender male. She said that he had always been comfortable being a woman, and it wasn't until he discovered the TFU that he came out as transgender and divine masculine. Again, is that the way he felt?
Or is that very, very good targeted manipulation?
Yeah. The difference between Debbie and Maxine was that Debbie had told him when Ray came out to her, she told him, like, you need to leave because I can't deal with this right now. And she does say, like, it's her biggest regret. Because she's like, if I could go back and, like, do it again, I wouldn't have ever said that. She just didn't know how to deal with it, basically.
She felt like what she had said had pushed him further away, essentially.
Yeah, because he left, and there is a YouTube video they show of him where Ray says that his parents had said to him, get the fuck out, I want nothing to do with you, goodbye. She said that that's not what happened. Again, obviously, two sides of the story.
Of course.
You don't know who's, lying or whatever. And I'm not saying she is lying, because she also did say that there wasn't a conversation between them. She did quite literally got home and he wasn't there anymore.
Right.
And she sent him multiple letters and emails over the years, over 3 years. So it's been 3 years since 2022 that he had left. She actually got a text from him that was basically a plea for help for getting out of a relationship, and he'd said he was willing to talk to her.
Oh, wow.
She had replied to it being like, absolutely, like, I'm willing to talk. She actually received a response while they were interviewing her for the documentary.
My God. What great TV.
I can find any follow-up. I have no idea where they are now. I hope that they're rebuilding their relationship, because I think they kind of showed his response back and it was still very much like he held the beliefs.
Yeah.
But he was so he has like responded kind of publicly. He's no longer part of TFU.
Okay.
He has left. He has also stated it wasn't a cult, but he is happy living as a trans man. Okay. So he's not like changed his mind or anything. Like he's very much like, this is me. But yeah, he's no longer part of the group.
No.
But I couldn't find any follow up with how.
If there's a relationship being repaired between.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's been like 2 years since that documentary now.
But also, I do suppose if someone really does feel like having a more distant relationship with their family is better for them, then that's fair. And they will, they can have a...
You can have a distant relationship without...
And still feel happy. Because if something did happen and there is broken trust and it's... or, almost traumatic experiences for either party, it is difficult to heal past that.
Yeah.
And understandable if they, still want to connect and still want to have that, but
I think the issue was that there was no communication. Like, there was no opportunity for...
resolution.
Yeah, he literally just left. But,
which is never how you solve problems. Communication is key.
Yeah. As far as I know, out of those mums, so Ray's left... Isaiah's still very much in the TFU, and obviously Stephanie's still in the TFU. Those three mums are all really close. They're really good friends. They found
support group.
They found each other through I think it was like a Reddit forum or something. But yeah, I can't imagine just like never seeing your child. But yeah, those are the mums. I'm going to now come back to the members and then I'll cover the main allegations.
Okay.
So Jessie, who I mentioned before, who spent all that money.
Oh, yeah, 20,000?
Yeah.
In coaching, jeez.
She left because of the divine masculine. This is why this part is so big, because this is literally the main thing that most people are like, yeah, do you know what? This just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it seems like it's a very polarizing thing to happen.
Yeah.
If you're still in at this point, it's like, yeah, this is my core belief now. But if that's what drives you out, yeah, understandable.
So Jessie was another one that had been told that she was divine masculine. And so she was so she said that people who were told that they were divine masculine were basically just pressured into like adopting a more masculine identity. They were encouraged to take a male name, change their hair, use male pronouns. Resistance was met with insistence that they mirror the divine masculine they supposedly possessed. So it was like, again, if you don't believe or feel uncomfortable, it's a block, you need to mirror it, overcome it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So essentially being told, if you don't believe us, it's your fault. Not that we're wrong.
And
convenient.
Yeah, she said that it just wasn't her. She'd never felt that way. She'd never felt like a man. But she was so like deep into it. She was under this pressure. She came out to her mum as male. And this is why I think a big thing about cutting your family off, because her mum had never like not supported whatever. She didn't like the TFU. She didn't believe it was a good thing, but she'd always supported Jessie in whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah, lovely.
Her mum asked her, is that something you truly believe, or is it what they believe?
Interesting.
To which Jessie replied, it's them. Her mum then asked her if she wanted to leave at this point. And then Jessie was like, yeah, actually, I need to. And left the group.
Look at that.
And that is why I think they like cutting family off, because...
a family can actually...
get through to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just that. Just turn to him and being like, is it you or them? And do you want to leave?
Because sometimes family actually have the ability to ask those questions more than anything else. Is actually not confront you exactly, but make you confront yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Jessie's mum was
I think parents as well, they have a really good intuition with sensing things about their children. Um, I know my mum is very good.
Mothers,
Mothers
definitely. I'm
specifically.
gonna say sorry, Dad, but Dad's not so much, because I feel like
Okay.
even like I know in the past, like my dad's good with me.
Mm,
He does like kind of pick up on maybe when I'm feeling like down or whatever, but I do think that even my stepmom, who's obviously known me for far fewer years,
sure.
kind of is a bit more,
That intuition
yeah,
almost.
which
Yeah.
is why I feel like I would go to her for more like, because like relationship issues I've had in the past, I kind of spoke about it with my stepmom because I felt comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And she is very supportive, so shout out Helen as well. And then my dad kind of, would come up and be like, everything okay with that? And Helen would be like, yes, dear, don't worry.
Yes, I've got this.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got this.
No.
But yeah, parents, definitely. But I think mums,
Yeah, I would definitely say, my mum has always been very good at picking up when I'm not okay. And
Also, she knows when you're lying.
she's very good at
She's
telling
very
when I'm
good
lying.
at,
She
yeah,
picks that up immediately, which is
kind of scarily, actually.
kind of scary, but it does mean that I definitely. I mean, obviously, when I was a teenager, everyone lies to their parents.
Yeah, obviously, it's like a
but-
rite of passage, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. But I've never felt in my adult life. I've never felt like I've had to. I've always been very good at especially after I had counselling and some therapy at university. I was much more open to opening up to my parents, my mother specifically. But I have talked to my dad a lot more about things that bothered me. And I think since then as well, it's almost when you do start to open up, that's when they're more able to pick up on things.
Yeah.
So
Your parents are so chill as well.
they're
like
chill.
the least like judgmental people ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're lovely, lovely people. Are so supportive. Shout out to Nina and Gareth. If
Do
you're,
they listen to this podcast?
I have no idea, but who knows?
You just gotta get them to listen to this one
This is one
specific
I'm
episode.
gonna soundbite that.
Yeah, soundbite that. Yeah, nice. But yeah, so that was Jessie. That was what made her leave. Angie took a different path. She said she did struggle with the false masculinity, but just embraced it. Because there are like literally, like because she just went from one end to the other, told that she had to be more feminine, and then immediately
they 180'd.
Yeah. Because she said that she said she struggled with it, didn't 100% agree with it, but believed that it was necessary as part of her spiritual journey and to align with TFU's teachings.
Okay.
Excuse me. She said that when she had left the group, she did start to like question the teachings, because when one of her closest friends had also left the group, they'd kind of turned to her and said, like, what do you have outside the group? All your friends, all your work, everything is tied up in TFU. And that's when she was a bit like, oh, shit, basically, and left. And it was really hard watching her watch videos of herself, because there was this one video of a meeting where she had started presenting male. So she had taken, I can't remember what name she had chosen, but she had cut her hair really short, dressing more masculine. And she'd said in this meeting, I wasn't happy with my exploration of the divine feminine, but the divine masculine feels like a fit. And she's like watching herself in these, and she's like, that's a person who knows exactly what to say to keep people happy.
Yeah. That almost sounds rehearsed. That sounds like that's been a pre-written script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was just like rewatching it, and she was like, it's just not me. That's a running theme with this, is people rewatching videos of themselves while they're in the TFU and being like, that's a different person.
Well, that falls into the
giving a new identity. Yeah.
Taking away their autonomy.
It was awful. She's happier now. She's exactly how she was before she joined the group.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll finish off with Keely and Marley. Because this is basically just the points at which they left. So Keely had said that the breaking point for her, because I don't think she wasn't affected of the divine masculine and feminine because she was already with Colby.
Yes.
Because they were one of the first, what's the word I'm looking for? Couples. Yeah.
Pairings.
So Jeff and Shalia had started demanding 50% of the coach's income. So before, all the income you made as a coach, you got to keep. Obviously, they'd probably be donating to the church or whatever throughout anyway.
Yeah.
But you got to keep your income. So when they started demanding 50%, a lot of people left because they were already financially struggling.
Yeah, of course.
And then obviously losing half their income. While, again, watching Jeff and Shalia leading this lavish lifestyle, you know, like there's this one video where they come to do like a sermon and Shalia's in like head to toe Chanel.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm like barely making it paycheck to paycheck and you're like covered in designer clothes, the kids in designer stuff.
Yeah.
But she also said that when that Vice article came out, members were forced to watch a couple of documentaries about cult leaders. I can't remember exactly the two she said.
Yeah.
But then they were asked to watch them and then write essays to defend Jeff's leadership.
Which I feel like is just, it's not a good idea anyway.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
For many people, it kind of just solidified that he was actually
acting
a cult leader.
Like a cult leader.
It was like, please watch these documentaries and then write an essay about why I'm not a cult leader. And they watched them and they were like,
hang on.
Actually,
Actually,
you're a cult leader.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of people left.
Mm.
And then she said that she started having doubts. Again, you got to remember she's quite high up.
Yeah.
So they're going to take more
from her.
From
they're going to expect more.
They're going to be harsher to her.
Yeah.
So she said that she had to do an almost 24-hour session to dissuade her belief that Jeff was a cult leader.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did that work?
No.
I'm going to say, I feel like if...
She kind of just said, yeah, she just agreed that he wasn't at the end, even though she like believed he was.
Of course.
Because it was like, she had to get out.
God, 24 hours just to let this be over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the big turning point for her was, so she knew she qualified for a golden child. So her and Colby had over 10,000 income. She purposely didn't report her income and it didn't get noticed. And then she was like, oh, I can lie to this group.
Yeah.
So she went to her husband, Colby. There's actually not a lot said about him and his beliefs. But she kind of went to him and was like, it's time to leave. And he must have been having doubts as well because he agreed to leave as well. At that point, she said their marriage was falling apart. Like, I mean, from the beginning, you probably knew that it wasn't going to work.
Probably.
But they agreed on one thing, and that's that they had to get Marley out, which is the younger sister.
Sure.
They were like, doesn't matter what's happening between us. We need to get her out because she's still
impressionable.
Young. I think she was about 20, 21, I think, at this point. So this comes back to Marley. She realised it was like, yeah, it's time to go. Keely and Colby just turned up at her door basically and was like, pack your bags, we're going.
Yeah.
And she kind of said it just hit her. It was like a massive wake-up call because they like had spoken to her and like talked to her about everything that was going on, because obviously there's things that Keely would have known about that a lot of the members wouldn't.
Of course.
But Marley was just like, realised that her twin flame was just assigned to her, and she just essentially wasted the last 3 years of her life.
Which is a horrible thing to wake up and...
So she said she literally just screamed and was like, oh my God. So she left with them. No idea what happened to Joshua. Other than I think it's a creep that he's a bit creepy for wanting to go after someone so much younger.
Sure.
I hope he's getting the mental health support he needs.
Absolutely.
But she said that, yeah, like recovering from a cult is incredibly hard because she'd felt so trapped. And it was nice to not feel trapped anymore.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that's how the main people left.
So what I'm noticing from this already, I think we spoke about it mostly, but this documentary is focusing a lot on the women affected by this group.
You want to know about the men?
I don't want to know about the men, but
I don't know anything about men.
I was going to say, there's not a lot involved in information from this documentary on Netflix. And to me as well, the interesting thing I think I'm noticing is that if you go to dating sites, over inundated.
Lots of.
Lots of. I'm not going to use a big word. There's lots of men on like quick dating sites and things like that. Whereas this group, you said it yourself, it was mainly
predominantly
women. Why would you say that is? What's your opinion on
commitment issues, isn't it?
Is it commit? Do you think it's commitment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a woman would join this group because they actually want to find someone.
Yeah.
Whereas men are just going to join a dating app because
they want sex.
Men want one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a horrible stereotype.
No, I think that is part of it. Not like so black and white, but sure. I think especially in our generation, it's not. People want shorter relationships. I think that is like a current trend.
You think?
I think that's both men and women though.
Okay.
I think it's not about, courting someone and living your life out with them. Like, there's a lot of cheating. I think people get bored. Because, like, if you think about how highly stimulating society is nowadays.
It is. There's a lot of...
relationships just aren't the same.
There's lots of... what's the word? Not short... instant gratification. That's what I'm talking about. With life and
relationships are a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why it was predominantly women. It just was. I can't.
So as a woman, does the idea of finding a partner that you are destined to match with, maybe not necessarily a twin flame because your definition of it is different to theirs,
but like a soulmate.
Yeah, is that
someone to live your life with?
Inherently appealing to you? Yes.
Okay. But I'm not going to say that because I'm a woman.
No.
It's because I'm an old romantic.
Okay. Do you find in your experiences, your friends or people you've talked to who are women, have they...
I mean, all my female friends pretty much are in long-term relationships, whereas my male friends are either single or in new relationships.
Okay.
The only person I know that's been in a long-term relationship is your friend, Alex.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah, because they've been together like 10 years, haven't they?
They have.
Yeah. Other than that, like, none of my friends... Although I don't know if it's because my male friends are like...
But it's this idea...
scared to talk to women.
Maybe.
Don't know how to.
That might be a thing, again, from the way society that we've lived in, is that...
I can say that because I know they don't listen to this.
Of course. But yeah...
Your friends do.
Some of them. But it's like...
I stand by what I said, actually. That applies to all of you guys.
But yeah, so has society, in the way that we've all grown up and we've been brought up, has it taken our ability to match ourselves more efficiently? Do we feel like we have to rely on dating apps or other figures of authority to match us together and to inherently just believe, oh yeah, these guys, because they're in a relationship, they know better?
I think I spoke about this ages ago. I think it was in our first episode, but I think it's just because of how dating is nowadays. Because you don't really meet anyone naturally anymore. I think dating apps have ruined relationships.
Okay.
I think dating apps...
Hot take.
...are one of the sole reasons why short-term relationships are so much more common. Like, people aren't really looking... I think it comes down to independence as well. I think with, like, females becoming... Females? Why did I say female? Women. Females. Becoming more independent, obviously... we can do things like vote and work now.
Oh, never should have given them the vote.
Hot take.
Kidding, obviously.
That, we don't need to depend on men anymore.
Sure.
And also with, LGBTQ plus community becoming more accepting and, again, you don't have to rely on a man if you want to be in a relationship with a woman. Like, I don't know. I think that's a hard one.
I am asking a commentary.
Because it wasn't like there wasn't men in in TFU, and there is men now.
Yeah.
It's just I couldn't say why it was predominantly women. I think maybe because maybe it's like a biological like evolution thing, because women want more connection, whereas men isn't it about like
Biologically,
you want to impregnate as many women as possible to further your bloodline.
sow our seed, as it were.
Oh, don't put it
is
that
not a
way.
good phrase?
No.
No. Yeah, I suppose so. Biologically, men to survive for the like species
It's about
to survive,
quantity,
as
not
it were,
quality,
I
and women are
suppose, is it?
quality, not
Or it's-
quantity.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Women want a partner that they want more. They want specific partners, opposed to men who just want partners. I
Yeah,
suppose.
but
As a generalization, evolutionary speaking.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is all horrible stereotypes.
This absolutely is.
Because I would say I don't know, because I think it just depends on the person and what you want.
Of course it does.
But I am conscious how long this is going on for, so I will move on from that, because I can't give you an answer anyway.
No, that's fine. I just thought it would be interesting to talk out and bring up. But yes.
But I'm just going to like briefly go over the allegations. So yeah, we've got MAP. Because again, no one in that group is psychologically qualified.
Oh dear.
So, this was one thing. I lied to you last episode.
You lied to me.
I said to you, as far as I know, no one has died in the TFU.
Oh, yes.
Someone did die.
What happened?
There was this one woman in the Facebook group who was, they blurred out her name. I don't know her name. She was really struggling with depression and had been posting about it on this open forum.
Sure.
And basically being encouraged to do MAP.
Okay.
She unfortunately took her own life.
That's horrible.
Worse, I can't remember who it was in the documentary, but someone basically said her death was spun, as it was because she wasn't doing her own healing.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But she, as far as I know, hadn't been told to get any kind of professional help whatsoever. They'd just like been pushed to do MAP.
That is...
I don't think she ever did MAP. I think
Okay.
she died before she did anything. But so that goes alongside with MAP.
Mm-hmm.
The whole divine gender stuff is just wrong. Like, labeling members, then pressuring them to align to that gender identity is horrible.
Yeah.
There's just a complete misrepresentation of acceptance of that community. Especially, there's loads of bisexual erasure. There's manipulation of sexual orientation narratives, and that's why that bit on their website makes me laugh, because it's like, yeah, we're accepting of everyone, blah blah blah, and then they do shit like this.
Yeah, they turn around like, yes, please come into this group. This is how you live now.
You know how I said Jeff says some really awful, terrible shit on those videos?
Almost constantly, yes.
This is my favourite. So, he said, he actually said homosexuality isn't a sin. Because it doesn't exist.
What?
He said, if you're two masculine energies having sex, two men, you're just shaking hands, because it's not your twin flame anyway. But is it misaligned to have a partner that is not your twin flame? Yeah.
Okay, so he's not called it a sin.
Because homosexuality isn't a sin because it doesn't exist.
Right.
Something that it doesn't exist can't be a sin, basically.
Okay, but he's saying it's misaligned, which basically means that if you're doing it, you're not doing it well. If you're doing it, it's not aligning with the group's ideology, and therefore he's still saying it's wrong, which is obviously completely false. But he's just saying it's wrong in a different way in order for him to spin it. So he's not homophobe, essentially.
Yeah, but they are homophobic. They just are. This is why I stand by what I said. They are homophobic.
Oh, yeah, no.
They're transphobic.
I'm agreeing with you.
And this is why I had all those trigger warnings I forgot to re-mention again. I will put it in the description. But yeah, they are just fucking horrible people. But I'm going to read you the response. So Netflix had reached out to Jeff and Shalia. They haven't responded to requests for comment, funnily enough.
Really?
They claim that criticisms are a coordinated effort by former students to discredit TFU. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have a general statement expressed to the media on the website. I don't know if it's still there. Probably, I just didn't look for it. So this is their response to these allegations. TFU denies allegations that it is a cult, that it improperly profits off students, that it encourages stalking, or that it separates students from their families. TFU denies that their system for partnering students is false and fraudulent. TFU further denies forcing some students to change their gender identities. TFU maintains that the group is a safe and tolerant place for all members of the LGBTQ+ community. They maintain that MAP operators were told to refer students to suicide prevention hotlines and mental health professionals if students said they were suicidal. On its website, MAP disclaims being a substitute for professional mental care.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, the Farmington Hills Police Department did investigate the TFU, but were unable to determine that any crimes took place in Farmington Hills. They forwarded their report to the FBI for review of possible federal crimes.
Okay. Well, that's a very blanket statement that they made out, and it does sound like something that most organizations wouldn't have to actually say.
Wouldn't have to deny.
Wouldn't have to deny, if there wasn't... It's almost...
Some truth in it.
If, methinks the lady doth protest too much. Sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
The statement's just...
It's laughable.
Whatever, yeah. But I just want to finish with telling you where these people are now.
Okay.
So they're all obviously trying to rebuild their lives. So a lot of them are working together. So I know Keely, I think Elle, I think the other woman that Elle did the journal, like the article with. I know Arcelia's in there, and the Dr. Janja. So they're helping to build a case in the hope that they can help more people. And the goal is to take Jeff and Shalia down.
Take them down.
Because also Dr. Jar Janja said was that it's when you take those higher people down that even the firmest believers will leave.
Yeah.
But so that's what they're doing. Elle has returned. She had a passion for music, and she's even DJ'd at Loveburn into 2023, which is like an arts festival.
Oh, amazing.
Angie said that she still hasn't met anyone, but she's accepted that. She's fine with it. And for right now, she's just focusing on healing.
Sure.
Marley returned to education. I assume she must have left education again by now. But she has cut ties with Keely. Keely and Marley don't talk to each other anymore.
Oh, okay.
Keely and Colby are no longer together. And Keely, at the point of that documentary, was applying to law school and is working closely with Dr. Janja. And she kind of ended it with, she hopes that one day Marley will want to rebuild their relationship. And it is hard because obviously Keely was the one that got her into it.
Yeah.
But I understand, again, needing that space from that person.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Keely was just kind of like, she's completely broke. All the money that she does have, she's putting into law school.
Yeah.
And all she wants is her sister back. It's heartbreaking.
It's a heartbreaking story. It's a shame there's not a happy ending to the documentary where they get taken down, I suppose. But it is ongoing.
Yeah.
This organization, as you say, is still... I'm not sure if thriving is the word. Active, that's it. But yeah.
It did. Well, there was one bit at the end where sorry, the ginger in that really kicks the back of your throat. She met up with Angie.
Yes.
Keely met up with Angie. Because Keely did kind of abuse Angie a little bit. But they kind of went for a drink together and just cried at each other. And again, I'm not judging, because if you see that person after leaving and everything that happened, it's just a release of emotions.
Of course it is. But
they kind of, Keely apologised to her, and Angie hugged her and was basically like, it's okay because I know that wasn't you, basically.
She was in that situation. She knows what the organisation does to you. She was able to forgive her.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a kind of sweet ending, and they all do seem to be getting their lives back on track. My heart just breaks for Keely and Marley.
Of course.
And my heart does break, I think, quite a lot for Marley as well, just again because she was so young.
Yeah, absolutely. That's formative years that she has spent within that group. Her personality is going to be somewhat defined by what's happened.
And she was almost like, I don't want to say groomed, but having a much older man with a with a very difficult mental disorder
to live with.
Say that you love them. I can imagine they were sexually active, and she probably didn't want to because she didn't like him that much.
Probably not. But that's also not for us to say, having had no insight into their immediates of their relationship.
Yeah. But yeah, that is...
But that's it. That's how we're closing it out.
That is the TFU.
That's the TFU. That's all we've got for the TFU. Netflix might follow it up. There might be more investigation.
Maybe. I do definitely want to keep tabs and see if there's of the civil case that's going on. But that was how it ended. Because again, you got to remember, this was only like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This is still a very new. But sorry, I just like Googled it because I wanted to see if there's any news, and then their website came up, and the first line on it says, "We will help you manifest harmonious twin flame union."
I don't think you're gonna do that.
Wikipedia literally calls it a cult. I actually didn't look at this. I try not to take anything from Wikipedia because it's written by other people.
Yeah.
And it can sometimes like not be quite accurate. But literally it does say Twin Flames Universe is an American cult. Oh, run by Jeff and Shalia Devine. Have they changed their names?
They've changed them to Divine.
I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, they have. No, they have.
What?
They've changed their names.
Yeah. That's not.
They were formerly Ayan. Now they're Divine. I think, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's all just bad, isn't it?
That's all generally not so good.
So what's your, I mean, I probably already know the answer to this, but, would you say it's a cult?
Would I say that TFU
is a cult?
Is a cult because it does lots of cult-like activities? Yes.
Yeah, it's a cult.
It seems very much to me that this is a controlling group using religion, manipulation, and the claims to pair someone with their forever partner to control, abuse,
manipulate,
and isolate and get rich from, essentially, which is all the tellings of a cult, which we went over, I believe, in the first episode. So yeah, this sounds like a cult.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I would call it a cult.
Yeah. So if you or anyone you know has been affected by the activities of a cult, please let us know.
You sound like the train person.
I do sound like the train person.
Say it, sorted.
Say it, sorted. But yeah, if you are having issues with a group like this, please reach out to the people who you know love you.
And
reach
get out
to authorities if you can, and just get out if you can. Anyway, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
And we will catch you in the next one.